Okay, today's mission is to pump out a little brown box, and I have to think from the inside out. The inside dimension needs to be 21 by 38 centimeters, and through trial and error I pulled that off. So now that I've achieved the width the internal width and depth that I want, or width and length that I want, then I'm going to trim these down again. So these things will have to come off. To achieve an internal measurement of 21, I had to add 26 mil. So that's what I did when I made my initial cut. I cut it at 23.6, and I did the same for the 38. I added the 26 mil that this will relieve. It removes 13 mil from each side. 13 plus 13 is 26. 26 plus my desired length of 38 turned out to be 41.7 or whatever. Okay, now my aim is to get this thing sitting high enough so that what it leaves me will slot in to the slot that my table saw will leave on the sides. And that's what we're doing now. The material we're working with is 15 mil thick, but the client wants these things to be as thin as possible. So I'm going to put these through the planer and try and make that happen without damaging any of the work that's been done. That's one side done. I got all four pieces clamped in together. I've made my first pass. Comb joints. Now we turn it over. Blow the dust out so it sits flat. Stick them right back where they were. Start the process over again. We gotta see if they fit. Okay, a couple of pieces broke out. Bummer. Luckily I saved them and I can glue them back in later. Alright. Next step here is going to be to cut a groove all the way around on the inside so that the top can sink in. Okay, so the comb joints went together really nice, and this one was a mistake. I came up 0.5 centimeters too shy on my width and my length, so I had to remake it. But basically, through trial and error, I figured out how to get this lift the way I want it. And what's critical is that this line, the perimeter, is exactly the same size as what it slots into in that box. What I was really worried about was the glue inside, not being able to get in there with my rag to wipe it, because it all had to get assembled at the same time. So what I did was I taped all of my corners and I got everything clean. When I put it together, I could get my hand in there and wipe any glue that was there. But then there was this one last piece to slot in, and it's either on this side or that side that I'm going to be struggling with glue. Put this kind of hinge in. It's a really nice jewelry box hinge, and you know, we got 15.7 millimeters of girth on our walls, and this thing is like 13 mil thick. Where this piece of plywood starts and where this piece of acrylic ends is going to be the distance of my travel. I'm going to do this tomorrow. Wish me luck. Okay, so now we get to see if it worked. So I don't know if you can see that, but on that bearing there and surrounding it is a lot of resin buildup that came from the wood. And what transpired was, as it was copying what was above it, the resin left that much of a discrepancy. It's funny, the amount of time it took to make these hinges fit in, about as much time as it took to build the box. And there we have it. Get some screws in there and we'll be good to go. The next thing I got to do is fit this in. This is a nice little clasp because it can grab these two spring bearings that way, or it can approach from the side. So that should be a bit more headache free. We already applied a generous amount of oil on the inside there, and we're just going to let it drip in there a little bit. Natural baby-proof oil, they say.
Who's they?
Baby cage.
Oh, the baby cage?
The guys that wrote the Chinese words on there.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, here. Our hot wax can has a leak in it. Lovely. But it's melted.
Yeah, set up in the soup leak.
Hope so. Buff it nice. And that's all that needed to happen. Right now that wax is hot on there and penetrating. I don't know how things work. Okay, so now we let that cool off and then buff it with a fresh rag. Hey, y'all may notice that there's no splatter this time. Greg learned a lesson. The rest we do by hand.
Beautiful. So it's not going to have a shiny look to it?
It'll be matte.
More matte, yeah.
Shiny, I think we could achieve with, if I were to go over it when it's 100% dry and sand it with 600 grit, and then wax it again.
Okay. It's got its own character. I like matte anyway.
The main thing is,
Nice
you know,
finish.
it's sealed. That hot wax penetrated everything.
Good.
But you know how wax is, right? The more that goes on, the more you build it up. So, if in the end of your R&D,
Yeah.
you want to build things up to be more glossy and rugged, we can do that.
That's the oil there, I guess.
I think what we're looking at that's wet is wax,
Oh, that's the wax?
but it's not going on the actual inside walls.
Right.
If I was
Oh, yeah.
a licensed Californian with a medicinal license, this would be a really nice roll-up
Yeah.
station.